I'm standing in my aunt's living room in New Jersey, a place my mother swore I'd never see, holding a bus ticket to Colorado. 3 days ago, I had a home in Florida. Now I have a choice that will decide the rest of my life. But to understand how I got here, you need to know what happened that Tuesday morning. The morning everything shattered. I walked through our front door still wearing my diner apron, smelling like syrup and burnt coffee. My sneakers squeaked against the tile, the same tile my mother had spent 2 weeks picking out because it had to be perfect for guests. In my hand, an envelope. My first real paycheck. 16 years old. 2 weeks of work. $287. I was proud. Stupid, I know. But I thought maybe, just maybe, she'd be proud too. She was standing by the kitchen counter, arms crossed, staring at me like I'd tracked mud through her perfect house. "You're late," she said. My shift ran over. They needed help closing. "I don't care." Her voice was flat, cold. "You think working at some greasy diner makes you special?" I blinked. "I just thought I could help with groceries or help." She laughed, but there was nothing funny in it. "You think you're so mature now? You think you're grown?" The envelope felt heavy in my hand. "Mom, I just wanted." "Fine." She stepped closer. Her eyes locked onto mine with something I'd never seen before. Not anger. Contempt. "If you're so mature, then pay your own bills." The kitchen clock ticked. Loud. Like it was counting down. "What?" "You heard me. Your phone. Your clothes. Your food. Everything. If you want to be an adult, earn it." My older sister Samantha was leaning against the hallway wall, watching. She didn't say a word. Didn't defend me. Just stood there with her arms folded, face blank. "That's not fair," I whispered. "I was just trying to help." My mother's jaw tightened. She pointed at the front door. "You don't like it? Leave." The air left the room. I looked at Samantha. She looked away. I looked at the envelope in my hand. 2 weeks of scraping syrup off plates, smiling at rude customers, coming home with aching feet. Then I looked back at my mother, and something inside me went quiet. Not loud, not dramatic, just done. "Okay," I said. Her eyes widened slightly, like she expected me to cry, to beg. "Okay," she repeated. "I'll leave." For a second, just 1 second, I saw panic flash across her face. But it was gone as fast as it came. "Go ahead," she said, daring me. So I did. I walked to my room, grabbed my backpack, threw in clothes, my school laptop, a phone charger, the paycheck. I didn't pack photos. Didn't pack memories. I didn't write a note. Didn't slam anything. I just walked back through the kitchen, past my mother who was still standing there like she'd won something, past Samantha who finally looked uncomfortable, and out the front door. The sound it made when it closed was soft. Softer than I expected. Heavier than anything I'd ever heard. I walked down our street, the one tourists took photos of, because it looked like a postcard. White fences. Palm trees. The American dream. I had $287 in my pocket. And an address I wasn't supposed to know existed. Because 3 months earlier, I'd been looking for tax documents in my mother's desk. She'd asked me to find them, and I found something else. A letter. Hidden under old bills and folders she never opened. An address in New Jersey. A name Linda. And a note in handwriting I didn't recognize. "If she ever asks about us, please tell her the truth." My mother had forbidden me from ever going to New Jersey. Never explained why. Just said, "Those people don't care about you." But that letter told a different story. So as I walked away from our Florida house, past the neighbors watering their perfect lawns, I wasn't running away. I was running toward the one place I was never supposed to find. What I didn't know yet was that the truth waiting for me in New Jersey would destroy every lie I'd been told my entire life. The Greyhound station smelled like disinfectant and desperation. I bought a one-way ticket to Newark with cash. The woman behind the counter didn't ask questions. Didn't even look at my face. Just slid the ticket across and said, "Gate 7. Leaves in 40 minutes." I sat in a plastic chair bolted to the floor and pulled out the letter I'd stolen from my mother's desk. The paper was old, creased from being folded and unfolded too many times. The return address was barely legible. Linda Castellano, 428 Maple Avenue, Bloomfield, New Jersey. I'd memorized it months ago. Traced the route on my phone late at night when everyone was asleep. Looked up the house on Street View, a small brick home with flower boxes in the windows. It looked normal. Safe. But what if I was wrong? What if these people didn't want me either? My phone buzzed. A text from Samantha. Where are you? I turned my phone off. The bus ride took 19 hours with 2 transfers. I sat in the back, headphones in but no music playing. Just silence. The kind that makes you think too much. Every mile felt like crossing into enemy territory. My mother's voice kept looping in my head. Those people don't care about you. They never did. But if that was true, why hide the letter? Why forbid me from even asking about them? Outside the window, Florida disappeared. Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia. Each state was a layer of distance between me and the only life I'd ever known. I should have felt scared. Instead, I felt awake. Around hour 12, somewhere in Maryland, a memory surfaced. I was small, maybe 4 or 5. Someone was teaching me to tie my shoes. Not my mother. Someone with a deeper voice. Patient. Kind. Loop, swoop, and pull. You've got it, kiddo. I'd always thought that was a dream. But what if it wasn't? What if my brain had been trying to remember something my mother spent years making me forget? By the time we crossed into New Jersey, my hands were shaking. Bloomfield was nothing like Clearwater. No palm trees. No tourists. Just narrow streets, brick buildings, and a sky that felt closer somehow. I got off the bus at the local station and walked. Google Maps said it was 23 minutes on foot. It took me 40 because I kept stopping, rehearsing what I'd say. Hi, I'm No. That's stupid. I found your address and no, that sounds insane. My name is. What if she slammed the door in my face? What if she called my mother? What if this was all a mistake? I stood across the street from 428 Maple Avenue for 10 minutes before I finally crossed. The house looked exactly like it did on Street View. Flower boxes. Small porch. A wind chime that made soft metallic sounds in the breeze. I knocked. Waited. Knocked again. Footsteps inside. Slow. Hesitant. The door opened. A woman in her 50s stood there. Dark hair streaked with gray. Lines around her eyes that looked like they came from smiling. But she wasn't smiling now. She was staring at me like she'd seen a ghost. Emily, she whispered. I froze. She knew my name. I'm sorry, I didn't know where else to. Oh my God. Her hand went to her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. I thought we'd never see you again. She didn't ask for proof. Didn't ask why I was there. She just stepped aside and said, come in, please. I walked into her house with my backpack still on, my body still tense, waiting for the trap to spring. But Linda just closed the door gently behind me and said, you must be starving. Let me make you something to eat. 10 minutes later, I was sitting at her kitchen table with a grilled cheese sandwich and a glass of water. She sat across from me, watching, careful not to push. How did you find me? She finally asked. I found a letter, I said, in my mom's desk. Linda's face changed. Something hardened in her expression. She kept that. She hid it. Linda nodded slowly. Like that confirmed something she already suspected. There's a lot you don't know, she said quietly. About your family. About what really happened. My chest tightened. I want to know. She studied me for a long moment. Then she stood up and walked to a closet in the hallway. When she came back, she was holding a shoebox. Then I'll show you. Linda placed the shoebox on the table between us like it was evidence in a trial. It was plain. Brown. The kind you shove in the back of a closet and forget about. But Linda hadn't forgotten. Before I open this, she said, I need you to understand something. Your mother and I used to be close. Sisters-in-law. Family. But when your dad tried to stay in your life. She paused. Looked at me. She made a choice. And that choice cost all of us. My throat felt tight. What choice? Linda opened the box. Inside, papers. Letters. Photos. She pulled out a document first. Official looking. Stamped. Dated 12 years ago. This is a petition for custody, she said. Your dad filed it when you were 4. I stared at the paper. My dad's name was on it. Marcus Castellano. A name I barely remembered. He wanted custody? I asked. He wanted shared custody, Linda corrected. He wasn't trying to take you away from your mom. He just wanted to be part of your life. She slid another document across the table. Court transcription. I scanned the lines. Legal language I didn't fully understand, but certain phrases jumped out. Petitioner requests visitation rights. Respondent claims petitioner is unfit. Petition denied. She said he was unfit? My voice cracked. Linda's jaw tightened. She said a lot of things. That he was unstable. That he'd abandoned you. That seeing him would confuse you. But none of that was true? None of it. She reached into the box again. This time, she pulled out a stack of envelopes. At least 20 of them. All addressed to me. Emily Carter. Different years. Different birthdays. These are from your dad, Linda said. He sent one every year. Every single year. I picked one up. The postmark was from 9 years ago. My 7th birthday. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside, a card. A drawing of a dinosaur wearing a party hat. Childish. Sweet. The message inside read, "Happy 7th birthday, kiddo. I hope you're having the best day. I think about you every single day. I love you more than you'll ever know. Dad." I couldn't breathe. She never gave these to me, I whispered. No, Linda said. She returned them. Every one. Unopened. I looked at the stack. Years of birthdays. Years of someone trying to reach me. And my mother had blocked every single attempt. Why? I asked. Why would she do this? Linda hesitated, like she was deciding how much truth I could handle. When your parents split, your mom met someone new pretty fast. He didn't want her dad in the background. Didn't want the complication. So your mom made your dad disappear. She lied. She rewrote history. I felt sick. Linda pulled out more items. Photos this time. Me as a baby. In someone's arms. A man with dark hair and kind eyes. Me at a park. On someone's shoulders. Laughing. Me holding a stuffed bear. Someone crouched beside me, smiling. That's your dad, Linda said softly. He was there. For the first 4 years of your life, he was there. But I didn't remember. Or I did, but my brain had buried it so deep, it felt like someone else's life. Where is he now? I asked. Linda's expression shifted. Something between hope and worry. Colorado. He moved there about 6 years ago. Got a job. Tried to start over. But he never stopped asking about you. Every Christmas, every birthday, he'd call me and ask if I'd heard anything. My chest ached. Does he know I'm here? Not yet. Linda reached into the box, one more time. She pulled out a single envelope. Recent postmark. Last month. He sent this to me, she said. He still writes. Still hopes. She handed it to me. I turned it over in my hands. My name wasn't on it. But I knew it was meant for me. Can I? Yes. I opened it. The handwriting was steady. Careful. Linda. I know it's been years. I know she probably doesn't even remember me. But if she ever asks, if she ever wants to know the truth, please tell her I never stopped trying. Tell her I never stopped loving her. I'm still here. I'll always be here. Marcus. I folded the letter carefully, placed it back in the envelope. Something sharp and hot was building in my chest. Not sadness. Not anger. Clarity. I want to meet him, I said. Linda smiled. But it was a sad smile. I was hoping you'd say that. Then her phone rang. She looked at the screen. Her face went pale. It's your mother, she said. My stomach dropped. She knows I'm here? She knows. Linda answered. Listened. Her expression hardened. She hung up without saying a word. What did she say? I asked. Linda looked at me. And for the first time since I'd arrived, I saw anger in her eyes. She said if you contact your father, she'll make sure you regret it. My phone buzzed. One text. From my mother. I opened it. If you walk into that man's house, don't bother coming back. I stared at the screen. At the threat. At the control she still thought she had. Linda was watching me. Waiting. There's a bus to Denver tomorrow morning, she said quietly. If you want to go. I looked at the shoebox. At the letters. At the photos of a man who never stopped fighting. Then I looked back at my phone. At the mother who spent 12 years erasing him. Book the ticket, I said. I didn't sleep that night. Linda set me up in her guest room, small, clean, with a bed that smelled like lavender detergent. But I just lay there staring at the ceiling, my phone face down on the nightstand. It kept buzzing. My mother. Samantha. My mother again. I didn't check. Every time it vibrated, I felt something tighten in my chest. Not fear. Not guilt. Anger. Because for 16 years I believed a story. That my dad didn't want me. That he walked away. That I wasn't enough to make him stay. And it was all a lie. Linda knocked softly around 6 in the morning. You awake?
Yeah.
She came in holding 2 mugs of coffee. Set one on the nightstand. I called your dad last night, she said, after you went to bed. My heart jumped. What did you say? I told him you were here, that you knew the truth, and that you wanted to meet him. I sat up. What did he say? Linda smiled.
A real one this time. He cried.
Then he asked if you were okay. Then he cried again. Something cracked open inside me. He wants to see me? He's been waiting 16 years for this, Linda said. Of course he wants to see you. She handed me a printed bus ticket. Denver. Departing 9:47 a.m. Arriving 11:32 p.m. It's a long ride, Linda said. But he'll pick you up at the station. I already sent him your photo, so he knows what you look like now. I held the ticket like it might dissolve. What if? I stopped. Swallowed. What if it's weird? What if we don't know what to say to each other? Linda sat on the edge of the bed. Then it'll be weird, she said gently. But you'll figure it out. Because he's your dad. And he never stopped being your dad, even when your mother tried to erase him. I nodded. But my hands were shaking. At 8:30, I was packed and ready. Linda drove me to the bus station. We didn't talk much. Just the radio playing soft music and the sound of tires on wet pavement. When we pulled up, she turned to me. You don't have to do this, she said. If you're not ready, I'm ready. Okay. She reached into her purse and handed me an envelope.
Cash.
Just in case.
For food.
For emergencies. Whatever. Linda, I can't. Yes, you can.
Her voice was firm.
Your dad would have done this years ago if he'd been allowed to. So let me do it now. I took the envelope. My throat felt tight. Thank you, I whispered. She hugged me. The kind of hug that feels like someone actually sees you. Call me when you get there, she said. And, Emily? Yeah. Your dad's a good man. Whatever your mother told you, whatever you're afraid of, it's not true. I nodded, got out of the car, walked toward the station entrance. Then my phone rang. Not a text this time. A call. I looked at the screen. Samantha. I almost didn't answer. Almost kept walking. But something made me stop. I picked up. What? Where are you? Her voice was strained. Panicked. None of your business. Mom is losing it, okay? She's calling everyone. She thinks you're going to do something stupid. Stupid. I laughed. Cold. Sharp. Like what? Find out the truth. Silence. You knew, I said. Didn't you? You knew Dad tried to stay in my life. You knew about the letters. You're 4 years older than me, Samantha. You remember him. Her breath hitched. It wasn't my place. It wasn't your place to tell me the truth. That's your excuse. You don't understand what it was like. Then explain it. More silence. I can't. Why not? Because you'll hate me. I already do. The line went dead. I stood there for a moment, phone in hand, people rushing past me toward buses and departures. Then I turned it off completely. Walked to gate 12. Boarded the bus to Denver. Found a seat by the window. And as the bus pulled out of the station, I looked back one last time at New Jersey. At the place I was never supposed to find. At the aunt who gave me the truth my mother tried to bury. Then I turned forward. Toward Colorado. Toward the father who never stopped waiting. I didn't know what would happen when I got there. But I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't the same girl who left Florida 3 days ago. And I was never going back. Pennsylvania looked like a memory I couldn't place. Rolling hills. Small towns with names I'd never heard. Farmland that stretched forever. I pressed my forehead against the bus window and watched America scroll past like a film reel. Somewhere around Ohio, exhaustion finally caught up with me. I closed my eyes. And the dreams came. I was small again. 4, maybe 5. Someone was kneeling in front of me, tying my shoes. Big hands. Careful movements. Loop, swoop, and pull, the voice said. See? You're doing great, kiddo. I looked up. Tried to see his face. But it was blurred. Like looking through water. Why did you leave? I asked. I didn't, he said. I'm right here. But when I blinked, he was gone. I woke up somewhere in Nebraska. My neck hurt. My mouth tasted like stale air. The dream clung to me. That voice. Those hands. I pulled out my phone, still off. I'd been off the grid for almost 24 hours. Part of me wanted to turn it on. See how many messages were waiting. But another part of me knew. The second I turned it on, I'd be pulled back into their gravity. So I left it dark. Around hour 18, an older woman sat down next to me. She had kind eyes and a crossword puzzle book. Long trip, she asked.
Yeah.
Where you headed? Denver. She nodded.
Didn't ask why. Just said, that's good country out there.
Mountains. Space to breathe. I smiled weakly. She went back to her crossword. But after a few minutes, she glanced at me again. You running from something or running towards something? I looked at her. Both, I think. She smiled. That's usually how it works. Another memory surfaced somewhere in Kansas. I was lying in bed.
Nighttime.
Someone was sitting on the edge of my mattress, singing softly. Not a lullaby I recognized. Just a melody. Low and soothing. A hand brushed my hair back from my forehead. Sleep tight, Em. I'll see you in the morning. But when morning came, he wasn't there. And I stopped asking where he went. Because every time I did, my mother's face would harden.
He's gone.
Stop asking.
So I learned not to ask.
I learned to forget. Except my brain didn't forget. It just hid the memories somewhere I couldn't reach them. Until now. By the time we crossed into Colorado, the landscape had changed completely. Flat plains gave way to rising terrain. The sky felt bigger. The air, even through the sealed bus windows, felt thinner. I checked the time. 10:47 p.m. Less than an hour. My stomach twisted. What if he looked at me and didn't see his daughter? What if I looked at him and didn't feel anything? What if 12 years was too long? What if we were strangers who just happened to share DNA? I almost texted Linda to tell her I'd changed my mind. But then I thought about the shoebox. The letters. The birthday cards I never got. The man who spent 12 years trying to reach me. He deserved a chance. The bus pulled into Denver Union Station at 11:34 p.m., 2 minutes late. I grabbed my backpack.
Took a breath.
Stepped off the bus into cold night air that smelled like diesel and snow. The station was still busy despite the hour. People rushing. Reuniting. Dragging suitcases across tile floors. I stood there scanning faces, looking for someone I wouldn't recognize. And then I saw him, standing near the entrance, holding a handwritten sign that just said, Emily. He was tall, dark hair starting to gray at the temples, wearing a jacket and jeans, hands shoved in his pockets like he didn't know what else to do with them. He looked nervous. Our eyes met. He didn't move at first, just stared, like he was making sure I was real. Then he lowered the sign, took one step forward.
Stopped.
Waiting for me to decide. I walked toward him, slow, each step feeling heavier than the last. When I was 5 feet away, I stopped too. We stood there, father and daughter, strangers and blood.
Hi, he said.
His voice cracked. Hi. His eyes filled with tears. He didn't try to hide them. I can't believe you're here, he whispered. I thought I'd never.
He stopped.
Swallowed hard. I didn't know what to say. Didn't know what to feel. So I just said the only thing that felt true. I needed to know if it was real. If you actually. I never stopped, he said quickly. Desperately. I never stopped trying. I never stopped loving you. Something broke open inside me. And before I could think, before I could stop myself, I dropped my backpack and stepped forward. He wrapped his arms around me. And I cried into the jacket of a man I barely remembered, but somehow still knew. I'm so sorry, he kept saying. I'm so sorry. But he wasn't the one who needed to apologize. He never was. His apartment was small. 1 bedroom. A kitchen that opened into a living room. Furniture that looked functional but not fancy. But what caught my attention was the wall. Photos. Everywhere. Me as a baby. Me as a toddler. Me in elementary school. Middle school. High school. Photos I recognized from school picture days. From social media. From events I didn't think anyone was watching. But he was. I know it's weird, he said quickly, following my gaze. I needed to see you growing up, even if I couldn't be there. I walked closer. Stared at a photo from my 8th grade graduation. I was wearing a blue dress. Smiling but not really. You were there? I asked. He nodded. Back row. I didn't want to cause a scene. I just wanted to see you. My throat tightened. How many times? Every event I could find out about. School plays. Concerts. Graduations. I stayed far enough away that your mom wouldn't see me. But I was there. I turned to look at him. Why didn't you ever approach me? His face crumpled. Because your mom threatened to file a restraining order. She said if I came near you, she'd claim I was stalking you. And I couldn't risk losing even the chance to see you from a distance. He sat down on the couch, rubbed his face with both hands. I thought about it every day. Thought about just walking up to you and saying, I'm your dad. But I was terrified you'd hate me, that you'd believe everything she told you. I did believe her, I admitted. Until 3 days ago. He looked up, pain in his eyes. What changed? I found a letter. In her desk. From Linda. Recognition flashed across his face. Linda kept trying to reach out to you. Your mom blocked her every time. She told me. She showed me everything. The court papers. The letters you sent. The birthday cards. His jaw tightened. She kept those. Hidden. Like evidence. He stood up abruptly. Walked to a drawer in the kitchen. Pulled out a folder. I kept evidence too. He handed it to me. Inside. Legal documents. Receipts. Emails. I flipped through them slowly. Every petition for visitation denied. Every letter returned, unopened. Every child support payment, documented and paid on time. I never missed a payment, he said. Not once. Even when I could barely afford it. Because I wanted you to know if you ever found out that I tried. That I never walked away. I stared at the receipts. Hundreds of them. Going back years. She told me you didn't pay child support. I said quietly. He closed his eyes. Of course she did. She told me you chose to leave. That you didn't want the responsibility. I fought for you. His voice was raw. I fought for 2 years. I spent every dollar I had on lawyers. I begged the court to let me be part of your life. But the system, he stopped. Took a breath. The system believed her. She was the mother. She was stable. She had a new partner. And I was just the guy who supposedly abandoned his family. But you didn't. No. He looked at me. I didn't. We sat at his small kitchen table. He made tea. I didn't drink mine. Can I ask you something? I said. Anything. Why Colorado? Why so far away? He leaned back in his chair. Stared at the ceiling. Because I couldn't stay in Florida. Every street reminded me of you. Every park. Every school. I drive past your house and see you playing in the yard, and it felt like someone was ripping my chest open. He paused. So I left. Found a job out here. Tried to build a life that didn't revolve around losing you. But I never stopped checking in. Never stopped hoping that one day you'd be old enough to ask questions. And if I hadn't, I asked, if I never found that letter, then I would have waited until you were 18. And I would have shown up at your door with every piece of evidence I had and told you the truth. His voice was steady. Certain. You were always going to know, he said. One way or another. Around 2 a.m, I finally asked the question I'd been holding back. Do you hate her? My mom. He was quiet for a long time. I did, he admitted. For years. I hated her for what she took from us. For the lies. For the way she made you believe I didn't care. But hating her didn't bring you back. It didn't change anything. So I stopped hating her and started hoping. That's all I could do. I nodded slowly. I don't know if I can forgive her, I said. You don't have to. His voice was firm. Forgiveness isn't required. Especially not when someone never apologized. That landed hard. Because my mother hadn't apologized. She'd threatened me. Tried to control me. Even now. She texted me. I said. Told me not to come here. Said I'd regret it. He leaned forward. Do you? Regret it? I looked around his small apartment. At the photos on the wall. At the folder full of proof. At the man who spent 12 years fighting for a daughter he wasn't allowed to see. No, I said. I don't. Relief washed over his face. Good. Because you can stay as long as you want. This is your home now. If you want it to be. My chest ached. There's one more thing you should know, he said carefully. What? He hesitated. Then reached for another envelope. Older. Creased. It's about your sister. My blood went cold. What about her? He handed me the envelope. She knew, M. She knew everything. And she helped your mother hide it. The envelope contained emails. Printed. Dated. Spanning years. From Samantha to my mother. From my mother to Samantha. All about me. I read the first one. My hands started shaking halfway through. From Samantha Carter. To Mom. Date. March 14th, 2018. He was at her school concert again. Back row like always. I saw him when I dropped off the fundraiser forms. Should I say something? From Mom. To Samantha.
No.
Don't acknowledge him. If Emily asks, tell her you didn't see anyone. I looked up at my dad. She saw you? He nodded. Multiple times. She never said a word to you. I kept reading. From Samantha Carter.
To Mom.
Date, June 2nd, 2019. Emily found an old photo today. The one from the beach, when she was little. She asked who the man in the background was. I told her it was a family friend. Was that okay?
From Mom.
To Samantha.
Perfect.
Make sure she doesn't find any more. My stomach turned. She lied to me, I whispered. Over and over. Keep reading, my dad said quietly.
From Mom.
To Samantha. Date, November 10th, 2020. I need you to check Emily's room when she's at work. I think she's been looking through my desk. If you find anything, bring it to me. From Samantha Carter.
To Mom.
Found a note with an address in NJ. I put it back in her backpack. Do you think she's planning something? From Mom. To Samantha. Watch her. Tell me if she mentions it. I slammed the papers down on the table. She was spying on me. My dad's face was grim. Your mother made her an accomplice. Promised her things if she kept you in the dark. What things? He pulled out another document. A bank statement. Samantha's name at the top. Deposits. From my mother. Monthly. Significant amounts. She was paying her, I said flatly. Your mom's boyfriend has money. They used it to keep Samantha loyal. I felt sick. All those years. All those times Samantha acted like we were sisters. Like she cared. It was a transaction. When did this start? I asked. When you were around 10. Old enough to start asking questions. Your mom needed someone on the inside. Someone you trusted. And Samantha agreed. Samantha was 17. Your mom offered to pay for her college. Her car. Her apartment. All she had to do was make sure you never found out the truth. I thought about every conversation we'd had. Every time I asked about Dad. Every time Samantha changed the subject or gave me vague answers. She wasn't protecting me. She was protecting the lie. Does she know I'm here? I asked. Probably. Linda said your mom called everyone trying to find you. As if on cue, my phone, still off, sat on the table between us like a grenade. You should turn it on, my dad said. See what they're saying. I don't want to hear it. I know. But you need to know what you're dealing with. He was right. I powered on my phone. It took 30 seconds to load. Then the notifications hit. 47 missed calls. 83 text messages. 12 voicemails. Most from my mother. Some from Samantha. I scrolled through the texts first. Mom, where are you? Mom. Answer me right now. Mom. Linda called. I know you're with her. Mom. If you contact your father, I swear to God, Emily. Mom. You have no idea what you're doing. Mom. He's going to hurt you. He always does. Mom. Come home. We can talk about this. Mom. Answer me. Then Samantha's messages started. Samantha. Please call me. Samantha. Mom is freaking out. Just let us know you're okay. Samantha. I know you're mad, but this isn't the answer. Samantha. He's not who you think he is. Samantha. Please don't do this. I stared at that last one. Don't do this. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I should have told you. Just don't. They're scared, my dad said. Good. He studied me for a moment. What do you want to do? I thought about it. About the years of lies. The manipulation. The money. The control. About the father who never stopped fighting. And the sister who sold me out for tuition payments. I want to call her, I said. Your mom? Samantha. My dad raised his eyebrows. Are you sure? No. But I need to hear her say it. I need to hear her admit what she did. He nodded slowly. Okay. But yeah. Don't expect an apology. People like that don't apologize. They justify. I picked up my phone. Found Samantha's name in my contacts. Hesitated for just a second. Then hit call. It rang twice. She picked up immediately. Her voice was strained. Desperate. I know, I said. Silence. You know what? I know you helped her. I know about the emails. The money. Everything. I heard her breath catch. It's not what you think. Then what is it? Silence again. Tell me, Samantha. Tell me why you lied to me for 6 years. Her voice came out small.
Broken.
Because I didn't have a choice. Everyone has a choice. You don't understand, then make me understand. But she didn't. She just cried. And I hung up. My phone rang again 30 seconds later.
Samantha.
I let it ring. My dad was watching me carefully. You okay?
Yeah.
But I wasn't. Because hearing her cry didn't make me feel better. It made me angrier. She didn't get to be the victim. The phone stopped ringing. Started again immediately.
She's not going to stop, my dad said.
I know. On the 5th call, I answered.
What?
Please don't hang up.
Her voice was ragged. Desperate.
Just let me explain. You had 6 years to explain, Samantha. You chose silence. I was 17. You were old enough to know better. She's our mother, Em. She told me it was for your own good. That dad was dangerous. That keeping him away was protecting you. And you believed her? Silence. Answer me. Did you actually believe her? Or did you just take the money? Her breath hitched. That's not fair. Fair. I laughed.
Cold.
Sharp. You want to talk about fair? You watched me grow up thinking my dad abandoned me. You watched me blame myself. You watched me break. And you said nothing. I didn't know how. You knew how. You just didn't want to. I heard her crying harder now. Ugly sobs that might have made me feel guilty 3 days ago. But not anymore. Mom's losing it, she said through tears. She hasn't slept. She's calling everyone. She thinks you're going to, I don't know, turn everyone against her or something. Maybe I should. Why are you really calling, Samantha? To apologize? Or to get me to come back so Mom stops making your life difficult? The silence that followed told me everything. That's what I thought, I said. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she whispered. When it started, you were so young. I thought eventually it wouldn't matter. That you'd just move on and forget about him. Forget about my father.
Yeah.
The way you forgot you had a conscience? She flinched. I could hear it through the phone. I'm sorry, she said. Finally. I'm so sorry, Em. I should have told you. I should have. Should have what? Been my sister instead of Mom's spy. Yes. At least she admitted it. Do you even feel bad? I asked. Or are you just sorry you got caught? Both, she said quietly. I feel bad. I felt bad for years. But I didn't know how to undo it. And the longer I waited, the worse it got. So you just kept lying? Yes. Her honesty was almost worse than the lies. What did she promise you? I asked. For this year. What's she paying you now? Samantha hesitated. Grad school, she said. She's paying for grad school. Of course she was. And if I come back? If I pretend none of this happened? Does she keep paying? I don't know. Yes, you do. Another pause. Yeah, Samantha admitted. She said if you came back and stopped causing drama, everything would go back to normal. Normal. I almost laughed. You mean the part where I don't have a father, and you get everything? I'm done, Samantha. Wait. I'm done protecting your feelings. I'm done making this easy for you. You made a choice. You chose money over me. You chose her over the truth. So now you get to live with that. Please, her voice cracked. You're my sister. No, I said. Sisters don't do what you did. You're just someone I used to live with. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. She was sobbing now. Full, gasping sobs. And I felt nothing. Is there anything I can do? She asked.
Broken. Small. Yeah.
Stop calling me. I hung up, turned off my phone again, set it face down on the table. My dad hadn't moved. He was just sitting there, watching me process. How do you feel? He asked. Empty. That's normal. Is it?
Yeah.
Confronting people doesn't always make you feel better. Sometimes it just makes you tired. He was right. I felt exhausted. Hollowed out. She apologized, I said. At the end. Do you believe her? I thought about it. About the way her voice broke. The way she admitted everything. I think she feels bad, I said slowly. But I don't think she'd change anything if she could go back. Because she'd still choose the money. My dad nodded. Probably. Does that make me cold? That I can't forgive her?
No.
His voice was firm. It makes you honest. Forgiveness isn't something you owe people just because they're family, especially when they're not sorry about what they did. They're just sorry about the consequences. That landed hard, because that's exactly what Samantha was. Sorry she got caught. Not sorry enough to have stopped. What happens now? I asked. My dad leaned forward. That's up to you. You can stay here as long as you want. Finish school here. Start over. Or, he paused. Or you can go back to Florida and try to rebuild things with them. Do you want me to stay? His eyes filled with tears. More than anything. But only if that's what you want. Not because you feel obligated. Not because you're running from them. Because you actually want to be here. I looked around his small apartment. At the photos on the wall. At the life he built while waiting for me. I want to stay, I said. Relief washed over his face. Okay, then you stay. That night, I lay in the guest bed, my bed now, apparently, and stared at the ceiling. My phone was still off. Sitting on the dresser, like a door I refused to open. I thought about Florida. About the house with the white fence. About Samantha and her apartment paid for with guilt money. About my mother, furious that her story was falling apart. And I realized something. I didn't miss them. I missed the idea of them. The family I thought I had. But the real version? The one built on lies and control? I didn't miss that at all. For the first time in 16 years, I felt light. Not happy. Not yet. But light. Like I'd been carrying something heavy my entire life and finally set it down. I closed my eyes. And slept through the night without dreaming. 3 days later, my phone was still off. But my dad's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Linda. My mother. Even Samantha tried calling him. He ignored all of them. They'll give up eventually, he said. But they didn't. On day 4, my mother did something I should have seen coming. She went public. My dad showed me the post on his laptop. He'd been checking social media to see if she'd try something like this. She had. It was on her profile. Public setting. Already had 200 plus comments. The post showed a photo of me from 2 years ago, smiling at a family dinner, next to crying face emojis and a long caption. My daughter has been missing for over a week. She left home after a disagreement, and I haven't heard from her since. If anyone has seen Emily Carter, please contact me immediately. I just want to know she's safe. Please share this. A mother's heart is breaking. Folded hands, broken heart. I stared at the screen. She's lying. I know, my dad said. She knows exactly where I am. Linda told her. Doesn't matter. She's controlling the narrative. The comments were pouring in. Praying for you both. Folded hands. I hope she comes home soon. Teenagers don't understand what they put their parents through. Have you filed a missing persons report? And then, halfway down. Wait, isn't she 16? Did she run away, or did something happen? My mother replied to that one immediately. She left after we had a small argument about responsibilities. I told her I loved her, but she was upset. I've been searching for her ever since. Small argument about responsibilities. I read aloud. That's how she's spinning it. My dad's jaw was tight. She's making herself the victim. Making you look reckless. And people believe her. Of course they do. She's the concerned mother. You're the rebellious teenager. I scrolled through more comments. Most were supportive of her. Sympathetic. But a few were different. Something feels off about this. Why post on social media instead of calling the police? If she's really missing, this seems like a strange way to handle it. Those comments gave me an idea. I need my phone, I said. Why? Because if she's going to lie publicly, I'm going to tell the truth publicly. My dad hesitated. Are you sure? Once you do that, there's no taking it back. Good. I don't want to take it back. He studied me for a moment, then nodded. Okay, but think carefully about what you say. Make it count. I turned on my phone. The notifications were worse than before. Over 100 now. I ignored all of them. Opened social media. Created a new post. Took a photo of one of the birthday cards my dad had sent when I was 7, the one with the dinosaur. The one my mother returned unopened. Then I wrote, since we're being public now. This is a birthday card my dad sent me when I was 7. I never received it because my mother returned it unopened. There are 20 more just like it. I didn't run away. I left because I found out my entire childhood was built on lies. My dad didn't abandon me. He fought for me for years. My mother blocked him at every turn. I'm safe. I'm with my father. And I'm not coming back. If you're going to share something, share the truth. I attached the photo. Hit post. Set the privacy to public. Then I sat back and waited. The response was immediate. Within 5 minutes, 50 shares. Within 10 minutes, comments flooded in.
Wait, what?
Is this real? Oh my God. I need the full story. Some people defended my mother. There are two sides to every story. This feels like a teenager acting out. But more people were questioning her now. Why would she return birthday cards? If he was dangerous like she claimed, why are the cards so sweet? This doesn't add up. Then someone commented. I went to school with her mom. She's always been controlling. This tracks. That comment got 40 likes. My mother's post suddenly had new comments too. People weren't just offering sympathy anymore. Your daughter just posted something. Care to explain? Why did you return those cards? This is manipulative. Within an hour, my mother deleted her original post. But screenshots were already circulating. My dad was reading over my shoulder. Well, he said, you definitely made it count. My phone started ringing. Unknown number. I answered. Hello? Emily. It was my mother. Her voice was ice. What the hell do you think you're doing? Telling the truth. You're humiliating me. You're making me look like a monster in front of everyone. You did that yourself. Take it down. Right now.
No.
Emily. You posted first, Mom. You lied first. You made yourself the victim. I just corrected the story. You don't understand what you've done. I understand perfectly. You're mad because you can't control the narrative anymore. Her breath was sharp.
Angry.
If you don't take that post down, there will be consequences. Like what? You'll cut me off? You already did that. You'll turn family against me? They'll find out the truth eventually, anyway. You're going to regret this. Maybe. But at least I'll regret the truth instead of living with your lies. I hung up. My hands were shaking. But I didn't feel scared. I felt awake. Over the next 2 days, my post kept spreading. People from my old school were messaging me. Friends I hadn't talked to in years. Even some of my mother's friends were reaching out privately. I had no idea. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Your mom always seemed so perfect. This is shocking. Samantha's social media went completely dark. Profile deleted. My mother posted once more. I will not be responding to false accusations. My family knows the truth. But the comments underneath were brutal. Your daughter posted receipts. Literal receipts. False accusations, with photographic evidence. Ma'am, you need to apologize.
She didn't respond.
She just locked down her profile and disappeared from public view. On day 7, Linda called my dad. He put her on speaker. You need to know something, she said. Her voice was tense. Your ex hired a lawyer. She's threatening to sue for parental alienation. My stomach dropped. Against who? My dad asked. Against you. She's claiming you manipulated Emily into leaving. That you've been poisoning her against her mother for years. That's insane. I know. But she's serious. She wants full custody reinstated, and she wants Emily back in Florida. I looked at my dad. His face had gone pale. Can she do that? I asked. Linda sighed. She can try. But Emily, you're 16. Old enough that the court will listen to your preference. And with all the evidence, the emails, the returned cards, the court history, she doesn't have a strong case. So, what happens now? My dad asked. Now, Linda said, you get a lawyer too. And you prepare to fight. My dad looked at me. We've been here before, he said quietly. But this time, I'm not fighting alone. I nodded. Then let's fight. The lawyer my dad hired was named Patricia Morales. Mid-40s. Sharp eyes. The kind of person who didn't waste words. She sat across from us in her small office and listened to everything. The timeline. The evidence. The social media fallout. When we finished, she leaned back in her chair. Your mother is grasping, she said bluntly. She has no case. But she's going to make this ugly. How ugly? I asked. She'll claim you were manipulated. That your father has been filling your head with lies. That you're a minor who can't make rational decisions. But I can prove everything.
I know.
And we will. But courts move slowly. And in the meantime, she's going to try everything to get you back to Florida. My dad's hand tightened on the armrest. So, what do we do?
Patricia looked at me.
We let Emily speak. 3 weeks later, Linda called with news. My mother had dropped the lawsuit. What? My dad sounded stunned. Why? Her lawyer advised her to. Apparently, When they reviewed all the evidence, the emails, the return cards, the financial records showing she paid Samantha to spy, they told her she'd lose.
Badly.
And it would become public record. So she's just giving up? Not giving up. Protecting herself. If this went to court, everyone would see what she did. This way, she can still pretend she's the victim in private. I felt something release in my chest. So it's over? The legal part?
Yes.
But, Emily, Linda's voice softened. She's still your mother. This isn't really over until you decide what kind of relationship, if any, you want with her. That question had been sitting in my mind for weeks. What did I want? I thought about it for days. Walked through Denver streets I was starting to recognize. Sat in coffee shops doing homework for the new school I'd enrolled in. Talked to my dad late at night about everything and nothing. And slowly, I realized something. I didn't want revenge. Revenge would mean staying connected to her, letting her actions define my choices.
I didn't want that.
But I didn't want reconciliation either. Not the kind where I pretended the past didn't happen. Not the kind where I forgave her just to make things easier. I wanted something else. Distance.
Clarity. Peace.
1 month after leaving Florida, I wrote a letter. Not an email. Not a text. A real letter. I didn't show it to my dad first. Didn't ask Linda's opinion. I just wrote what I needed to say. Mom, I'm not writing this because I think it'll change anything. I'm writing it because I need to say it once, clearly, and then move on. You spent 12 years erasing my father from my life. You told me he didn't want me. You returned his letters. You blocked his calls. You paid Samantha to lie to me. I'm not asking why anymore. I don't think you even know. But I need you to understand something. I'm not coming back. Not to Florida. Not to the version of me you tried to create. Not to a family built on control. I don't hate you. I'm not even angry anymore. I'm just done. You'll probably tell people I'm the one who walked away. That I'm the one who destroyed this family. And maybe you'll even believe it. But I know the truth. And that's enough. I hope one day you figure out why you needed to lie so badly. I hope you find whatever it is you were so afraid of losing. But I'm not waiting around to find out. Take care of yourself. Emily. I mailed it from a post office in Denver. Watched it disappear into the sorting bin. And felt lighter. 2 weeks later, my dad and I were sitting on his apartment balcony. The mountains were visible in the distance, dusted with early snow. Do you ever regret it? I asked. Fighting for me all those years? He looked at me like I'd just asked if the sky was blue. Never. Not once. Even when it didn't work? It did work. He smiled. You're here, aren't you? I smiled back.
Yeah.
I'm here. He reached over and squeezed my hand. I know this hasn't been easy. And I know it's not a perfect ending. But his voice caught. I'm just so glad I get to know you. The real you. Not the version your mother tried to shape. Just you. My throat tightened. Me too. We sat there in silence for a while, watching the sky turn orange, then pink, then deep purple. And I realized something. Some stories don't end with everyone reconciling. Some don't end with the villain apologizing. Some just end with you choosing yourself. Choosing truth over comfort. Choosing peace over performance. I didn't get the family I thought I deserved. But I got the one I needed. The one that fought for me when I couldn't fight for myself. And that was enough. People always ask if I forgive her. My mother. The lies. The years. And I always give the same answer. I don't need to forgive her. I just needed to stop letting her define me. They wanted me to choose between anger and forgiveness. I chose something better. I chose myself.